Welcome, Natalie. Thank you so much for speaking today. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Well, why don't you start off by telling us a bit about who you are and also Ogilvy?
Right. Okay. So my name's Natalie. I am a strategy partner at Ogilvy. Ogilvy is a global creative agency. Um, we have over 120 offices in 90 countries, but I work here in the UK office. I think the best way to explain what a creative agency like Ogilvy does is, some companies make physical products. Our product is ideas. So we make and sell ideas. And the purpose of those ideas is really to connect brands with the people that they want to reach. And how those ideas come to life, it's really any place where a brand might appear. So anything from more traditional advertising, so the type of thing you would see on TV or on a billboard, through to events. So if you've ever seen a brand do a pop-up experience, things like influencers. So we'll harness influencers to bring those ideas to life, and social media. And I actually have a little video which can probably better explain what I'm trying to say.
Amazing. Okay, we'll play the video.
When you hear the rhythm, start to move.
Feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should go.
Glowy skin.
Want to go big this Christmas?
Feel like I should go.
When you hear the rhythm, start to move.
Feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should go.
Needs a little kick.
You've got a friend in Philly.
Feel like I should,
Let the feelings of your favourite books become the colour
like I should, feel like I should,
of your
feel like
favourite
I should,
rooms.
feel like I should.
Tatiana Schoonmaker back to defend her gold medal against her biggest rivals.
Mates!
When you hear the rhythm, start to move. When you hear the rhythm, start to move.
It's been almost 3 years since the diagnosis. I just hope we haven't run out of options.
Ogilvy Consulting. The jet fuel of Ogilvy. Igniting transformation. Nudged up to over 600,000. One team, unstoppable.
When you hear the rhythm, start to move.
Have you ever wanted to be in an iconic Cadbury advert?
And each step feels like a beat in my music.
Thank you so much, Natalie. That really brings it to life. How did you personally get into advertising?
I would say my route into advertising is a bit of a wiggly line. So I was one of those people that left school. I didn't really have a plan. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was always interested in art. So I did an art foundation course, and I was thinking I was going to be a graphic designer. It turned out I wasn't anywhere near as good enough to be a graphic designer. So instead, I studied media at Brighton University. And I remember leaving uni and sending letters to every agency, every brand I could think of. I actually remember getting a rejection letter from Ogilvy, which is so funny given I work here now. So I ended up doing an unpaid internship at a magazine. And I remember my parents being like, okay, enough with the unpaid internship, you need to start earning some money. So I ended up taking a job, in an admin job in a finance company, which was so far from like what I thought I'd be doing. But that finance company had a marketing department. So I started helping out with their marketing, their emails, their brochures. And from there, I got a job in a small digital agency of like 10 people, which I worked at for maybe 4 years. Then I went to a slightly bigger agency, worked there for 7 years before joining Ogilvy over 3 years ago. And I guess the key thing I'd say is when we finish school, we tend to ask ourselves the wrong question. It's like, what do you want to be? Which is so abstract because it's like thinking about who I'm going to be in 5, maybe 10 years time. Like I have no idea, and the world is changing so quickly. So I would say if you don't know, like me, ask yourself what you really enjoy or what you're good at. Because what's interesting and what I like about this industry is there's no kind of set path to getting here. Like everyone's arrived on their own way. So we've got people that have studied psychology, people that have studied business, people that haven't studied anything at all, but they've been in events or music or have had their own side hustle. So I would say if you don't know, find out what you're passionate about and do what you enjoy, and the path will follow.
No, that's such good advice. And you're so right. I think everyone feels like they have to have everything figured out now. They know what industry they're going to get into, but every single person I've spoken to, they would never have guessed where they have ended up.
Yeah.
And only I think it's like people I've spoken to who now are, in the industry, they're like, only the last couple of years I now know what I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't worry if you are figuring it out, feeling lost, just start and just start anywhere and slowly you'll work out what you like and what you don't like. And what about your challenges? Because you're from a working class background. The creative industry is notoriously known for being a little bit elite, or you need to know people to get in. Did you have any challenges about or feeling like you didn't belong?
Well, I think the first thing to say is I didn't really know what advertising was. It wasn't really a career that was talked about at school, was talked about at home. Like, I don't think my mum and dad understood what it was. They were far more traditional in terms of what route I should go. I knew no one in the industry. I had no contacts. So I remember and this was a long time ago. I remember it feeling like a sort of place where all the doors were locked. So to your point, I think my advice would be to just start. So start somewhere and do anything that gets you closer to where you want to go. So it's like focusing on what's right in front of you. Like when I took that admin job, it gave me exposure to the marketing department, right? And getting that marketing experience gave me something to talk about in my first agency interview. And in that first agency, I got exposed to strategy, which made me understand like how an agency works, which then got me a strategy role in my next agency and so on. So I would just say, if you don't know where to start, just start doing something and move closer to where you want to go.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's like you're taking a little thing every time you do something, and then that adds up to be your experience in CV. So you don't need to have everything at the beginning.
No,
it's impossible to have everything at the beginning.
Yeah.
So what is a strategy partner?
It's okay. So I said at the beginning that our product is ideas, and there's a whole host of people and roles that contribute to getting that idea made. There are client services people, there are strategists, there are creatives, producers, directors, designers, finance people. Strategy is just one part of that whole thing. And I guess the best way for me to explain it is strategy is everywhere. Like there is strategy in sport, there is strategy in football, how you're going to win the match. There is strategy in business in terms of how you're going to grow your business. So that is what strategy is. It's identifying the problem and figuring out how you're going to win. And when you have that becomes the fuel for the creative idea. In terms of strategy partner, that just means someone more senior in strategy. But I think the beauty of this role is the variety, but also the fact that I get to spend my days talking about ideas with creative people. So a typical day might involve briefing a team on launching a new soft drink, or it may involve reviewing ideas for a fashion brand that's trying to break into a new market. Or it might involve presenting a strategy to a bank about how they might increase the loyalty of their customers. So it's all, you touch all different sectors, you spend your days talking about ideas, selling ideas, making ideas better with creative people. So it is, I would say, a lot of fun compared to many industries.
No, that does sound fun. And what like kind of or type of person would be good at strategy? Is it someone who's like logical? Are they good at like certain subjects at school? I don't know, what if you had to describe someone who would be good at it and they might not realize that strategy is
Okay.
for them.
Well, this is my opinion only, but I would say that this is an industry where character beats talent. And what I mean by that is, of course, it is good to have good qualifications and skills and grades. I, for example, tried pretty hard at school, but got bang average grades across the board. Because I think those things only count towards so much. Skills can be learned, but it's really your personality and who you are that's going to be your most important asset. And with that in mind, I think there's, for me, three qualities that stand out. So the first thing would be to be curious. I think the older we get, the curiosity tends to get knocked out of us as we kind of accept things for how they are. But like, I think it's about, being a sponge, filling your life with knowledge, be interested in the world around you. Like I am constantly writing down things people say, things I hear, quotes I love, saving things I've read. And all of those things come in use because when you're creating ideas, it's about connecting dots. And you can only connect those dots if you've collected them. So it's like building up your stores of what you understand about different things. I would say the second thing is be opinionated, have an opinion. And that sounds so basic, but it's like, I think, sometimes we think having an opinion means you have to be right. So people are scared to have an opinion because they don't want to be wrong. But really the goal of an opinion is to bring your perspective. And it's a perspective that only you can offer because it's built on your own experiences and it's as valuable as the next person's perspective. And I think what's brilliant about this industry is it's not about following a process or fitting into a template. It's bringing your point of view because we're creating ideas that need to resonate with so many different people, and the more diverse the input is at the beginning, the better those ideas are. So have an opinion. And lastly, I would say emotional intelligence. So obviously in the age of artificial intelligence, I think that emotional intelligence is going to be a really strong asset to have. Because we're hardly ever the audience for the brands we're working for. So you could be working on a pet brand and you've never had a dog, or you could be working for a baby care brand, but you've never been a parent. And it's just having that ability to have empathy and put yourself in the shoes of someone else and imagine how you are going to connect with that person. So I think emotional intelligence is a really key quality as well.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And especially with advertising, because you're trying to connect with people. It's really those like lived experiences that is really important.
Yeah.
And what would be your one piece of advice? I mean, you've given lots of advice already, but someone who doesn't have any industry connections, just starting out, like what could they be doing this weekend?
Yeah.
To just start?
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty naive when I started out, sending letters saying, "Can I come and work for you?" Like, no. So I talked about having curiosity and having an opinion, and I think there's one thing saying you have those things, and there's another thing proving it. And I think we're at a point in time where everyone has the resources they need to promote themselves, and what they're about. So, for example, could you create a Substack where you're writing your point of view on recent trends or the latest Christmas advertising, putting your point of view out there? Could you dedicate your TikTok to going out on the street and interviewing people about things they care about? Could you showcase your design or your photography on your Instagram account? It's I think the point being, you need to be able to point to things that prove that you are preparing yourself for a career in a creative industry. So it's that, and the other thing that I mentioned earlier is just starting somewhere, like however small it might be, helping market a local event. I don't know, but it's everything is building towards where you want to go.
100%. And to build on to that, I think consistency is so important because yes, you could start a Substack on the weekend or, create an Instagram account. But the problem is I think people like do it once and
Yeah.
then that's it.
No, you've got to be genuinely interested and passionate about doing that. And it, it's finding the thing that you enjoy doing. Like as a strategist, I'm really into consumer insights. So if I was young again, I mean, there's nothing stopping me doing it right now, to be fair, but I could do a TikTok interview people on the street about, what's happening in culture, what's happening in politics, and get their views, because those are invaluable insights that are really so rich when it comes to tackling briefs.
And yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, it's something that people enjoy because if you enjoy it, then you can stay consistent,
Yeah.
and you can really, dive into it because
Yeah.
trying to do something that you hate and you don't like,
Yeah. To my earlier point, like find out what you enjoy, what you're passionate about, because you may find that you follow a certain path that you think you should, and then reach a point where you don't want to do it anymore. And so I think finding something you enjoy, that might manifest itself in 5 different jobs, but there's a common denominator in terms of what it is that drives you.
100%. Well, we've nearly come up to the end of your time, Natalie, but I'm just seeing if there's any other questions here, which I think you could answer, but you've already given so much. That's because I'm like another piece of advice, Natalie. More advice, more. Is there anything else that I guess that you're seeing, particularly in advertising, that is really going to help someone stand out? And maybe more around like what are the strengths that young people have? What, their generation. Could you pick out anything that they could use that as a strength?
Um, first of all, that they are younger, I would say, is because like we spend a lot of our time, a lot of brands want to engage Gen Z, Gen Alpha. So we obviously try and talk to those people, try and do lots of research. They are this generation. They have rich perspectives. They would be invaluable in an environment like this where, they're just cooler, they just know what's going on. So it's a strength in itself. I also think increasingly AI is becoming part of the mix of what we do. So it's not that, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but like, it's not that AI will take those jobs, but people that understand how to use AI will be at an advantage. So maybe something to think about, but the world is moving at such a pace. Who knows, this advice might be redundant tomorrow. So I try and stick to the core things of do what you enjoy. Remember, it's character, not talent. Be curious, have opinions, have emotional empathy, and prove it is the key things I would say.
Love it. Thank you so much, Natalie. That was excellent.
Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. And hopefully we will see you soon.
Thank you very much.